Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sessions Cafe. I'm your host, Keri D. Singleton, and in the building is my man, ETCETERA, looking extra fly in that red jacket. And welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you for having me,
welcome
my
to
man.
the show. So you from Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Yes, yes.
Great place to be from.
Yep.
Great place to be from. Eastern Parkway, the whole nine.
From Crown Street, Bedford and Rogers.
Lovely part of town to be from. How did growing up in Crown Heights shape your aspirations to be a recording artist? Because that was the avenue that you eventually took. How do you feel that growing up in Crown Heights, specifically that particular neighborhood in central Brooklyn, how do you think that that shaped your aspirations to be the recording artist that you became today?
So growing up in Crown Heights is so diverse. Being growing up on Crown Street, you know, we went from, you could walk down a block with high-rise buildings down to houses, tree-lined block.
Right.
So, you know, we grew up with a lot of diversity. You had the, you know, well-to-do family up the block, the family that wasn't too well down there.
Right.
So you had a plethora of stories you can go through. We got a chance to run outside, play Skelly. So to have a full life, you know, was basically just an artistry in itself.
Right.
And it breeded a lot of creativity in Crown Heights. I'll be honest with you, I had like gentlemen down the block that had radio shows. I had gentlemen down the block that wanted to be artists. I had, you know, I had Ralph McDaniels right up the video music box, like right on Bedford Avenue up the block from me. So that was like full of aspirations, you know, and he also had like the Black Moons coming out. He had all the artists coming out on Bedford Avenue. And then, of course, we went to Bedford Bowl as a kid, so we got a chance to see all of that. So between that and, you know, me always being on punishment because I had a smart mouth, my mother, like, you can't go outside. That was like the thing that hurt me most.
Of course.
So I stayed in the house and wrote a lot.
Okay.
So you talking about writing poems.
Right.
So I wrote poems, I wrote letters to myself, I built characters, you know, created stories, and that's like the breeding ground for like artistry.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, Crown Heights is such a, I mean, many neighborhoods in Brooklyn have become legendary. Of course, Bed-Stuy, for its super blackness, second largest black community, African American community in New York City at one time. But Crown Heights, just aside from the more significant things that it's known for, like the Crown Heights riots that happened during
unfortunately
David Dinkins' time, but the neighborhood, and I'm familiar with it. I lived on Eastern Parkway for a time. So diverse. You have, you know, families of Jewish New Yorkers that live only blocks away from
on Kingston Avenue, Eastern Parkway.
Just blocks away from Caribbean based persons.
They live the other way, Flatbush.
It's just so diverse, and that's why I asked you, like, with growing up there, all that culture and all of that sound and all those, that food.
And Labor Day. You understand? Eastern Parkway was Labor Day. That was nothing but it. So, and then we had the Talib Kweli's that was up on Eastern Parkway. You know, the most deafs that used to join in. So, you know, and then I went to like John Jay High School. So I met like my DJ from there, and then they introduced me to the other side of Crown Heights, which was Nostrand Avenue. And that side was like full of music, full of culture. So just on St. John's alone was first priority music.
That's
with Milk D and MC Light.
That's right.
You know, then we had the studio in the basement on Park and Nostrand where a plethora of artists to come through, like Das Effects, Cellar Dwellers, you had Busta Rhymes, Rampage, you know, and even, you know, Kwame, of course, I brought him through when I, you know, got a chance. So, you know, and then we had a breed of artists like Problem Child, you know, and, you know, now he's the rap martyr. But, you know, we had all of that around. So the fight to be like original, the fight to be the artist, the fight to stand out was like it was like the greatest competition. It wasn't like a battle of who's the best. It was a battle of how are we all going to be the best?
Right, because in that era, which year are we talking about for you?
Well, I had like 90s. This was like the 90s era.
That's
like the late 90s.
In my opinion, that was the era of innovation.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't just be. It flips me out that even today that you have two rappers, Da Baby and Little Baby. That's not something that would have even been tolerated.
Nah.
You know, having a similar name or. You know,
but you also had Dr. Dre's. You had two Dr. Dre's.
Well, but they weren't both the same. One was a producer from Los Angeles.
Right.
The other was a on-air personality / actor.
Yeah.
So it wasn't exactly the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I mean, again, you really needed to in the late '80s and certainly the early to mid '90s. You definitely
needed to forge originality.
You had to forge your originality.
Yeah.
You had to be about innovation. You had to be different. If somebody else was doing it, you better not try it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, you know, and I believe, certainly from the conversation we've had thus far, that you growing up in such a diverse melting pot of a neighborhood had everything to do with that. So let's talk about, you're a proud Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Sagittarius album. Specifically in 2024, you had a listening party during Grammy Week. That must have been one of the pinnacles of your career. Talk to me about that.
That was the most interesting that I ever had. Like we had it at the studio that Michael Jackson. This is something that I wanted to do. I had the studio that Michael Jackson did, ABC, because I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. Yeah. There's no question I'm a Michael Jackson fan.
Yeah.
So this album meant a lot to me because it was like a plethora of all the music that, you know, didn't make or the rebirth of ETCETERA. So ETCETERA came out with the first album called Character. That album did extremely well. Now it's the hardship of trying to outdo it. So I spent a lot of time in between me doing singles, me doing movie soundtracks, me being a music supervisor. I wanted to pull together music that was sort of diverse, because Sagittarius in a whole, like parallel Sagittarius with ETCETERA, and you know, piggybacking on the last conversation, being diverse, that was the reason why the name ETCETERA came about. I started off with two names I'm not gonna say, but like MC this.
Right.
You know, I was called Shamel, I was called Shiz, and then it was like group ETCETERA. Now this is how I rhyme. I rhyme like so forth and so on. So I had like this unique style of rapping. And you know, if you heard me back then, you'd be like, this dude is crazy. And you had to be the best. So when Sagittarius came, it was like, how are you gonna name this album? So you engulf your personality. Sagittarius is who I am. It's my zodiac sign, and it's the body of work that I put together. So I have records that deal with, you know, old school hip hop. Like I have a record called Churches and Angels featuring Grapevine from Trends of Culture, which I pulled from, you know, yesteryear. Then I have a song called Dance for You featuring Kaya Jones from the Pussycat Dolls. So when you take two ends of spectrum and you sort of like what you're gonna put in the middle. So I melted that and made, you know, ETCETERA is so diverse, I melted all the records in between, from Sexiest featuring Adam Shank, which is like a pop record. I turned Dance for You into an EDM record. ETCETERA was never meant to be put in a box. So that spawned like the success of the album. Now,
much like your favorite artist, Mr. Jackson's, his career in terms of his historic album, you know, he as much as I've researched, he had a problem after Thriller was released, and that was he was insistent upon topping Thriller as if that was possible. You know, there was Off the Wall, and he was determined to top that. He did with Thriller. And then, you know, a couple of years later, he was determined to top Thriller. Now, with you with Sagittarius, you said that you were concerned, I'm using that word loosely, with superseding the previous projects that you have released.
So
and I dare say, I don't know, it's all about opinion, but in terms of numbers, Bad did not supersede Thriller. It didn't do bad, no pun intended.
Right.
But in terms of sales, it didn't top Thriller. Was that sort of an inspiration for you in terms of Mike wanting to top his greatest album? Were you trying to top your previously great releases?
Well, the legendary Michael Jackson had reasons for why he wanted to do it. Where the space he was in is the reason why he wanted to do it. That wasn't my space. I wasn't trying to top it. I was not trying to duplicate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you wanted a second character, then you would just buy a character again, buy it another time.
And that's, so that we're clear, Sagittarius was your third album.
Sagittarius was my third album.
That album, okay.
Yeah.
So you had two before that.
Yeah, I had two before. I had Character before that, and I had a compilation album that was mixed, that was like a mishmash of records that we put together, that it was thrown out there to, to basically to satisfy a label agreement.
Right.
Character was like the studio album that was like the body of work that I took that was like a masterpiece.
Right.
Then you have Sagittarius, that was another masterpiece that, was put together. And then now I'm going into it, like there's records that didn't make Sagittarius.
Right.
And I'm contemplating on putting Sagittarius Part 2. And that's in the space that I am in.
Right. Creatively.
Yeah, creatively.
Yeah,
so each time you come up with something, it's not like you want to follow a trend, but you want to complete a sentence.
Right, exactly. Good. I love that. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm wearing another Brooklynite.
Yes.
The Notorious B.I.G.
What? Best style.
In memoriam to March 9th. So we're going to talk about that, and I want your thoughts about that because I know it's close to home.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. And we're back here on Sessions Cafe with my man, ETCETERA. Am I overpronouncing it?
No, listen, I've been called ETCETERA,
well, that's
ETCETERA, it's ETCETERA.
Yeah.
It usually rolls off the tongue.
ETCETERA, yes.
If you got it.
So this past Monday, March 9th, which most, if not all of us, connected to hip hop in some way or another, recognize that as the day that the Notorious B.I.G. was gunned down. And being from Brooklyn, I feel as if being from Brooklyn and being a recording artist and MC, I feel as if that's got to touch you more so than the average person.
Yeah.
Let's start with the obvious question. March 9th of 1997, what was that day like for you in regards to finding out that we lost Big?
So when there's a lot of false news a lot of times.
Yeah.
Even prior to, we had the Instagram and all that, everybody. There's a lot of false news and people say certain things, when that was said, it didn't really hit because I was like, oh, come on, Big, come on, not Big, right? We just saw an interview with him like 2 days before, we just saw him on the oh, yo, Big is going to such and such, but when it was actually confirmed, it was like a step back because Big was, if I was to break it, compartmentalize it, a kid that was in church that wanted, did something that, a lifestyle the neighborhood dictated and then transformed it into a lifestyle that, he changed his life. Right. Is representing me. Right. I was a sheltered kid from Brooklyn. Like, I'm like a t-shirt. There's nothing the hood about me.
Right.
Right.
And that was him too. I mean,
I just didn't have to, do street activity for any any resources or anything.
Right.
But music was like my therapy. So music was like his therapy. That's what he did. Sort of like Hov did. Like it's your therapy, but your circumstances cause you to do things for financial.
Financially, yeah.
That hurt because that could have been any one of us at any given time. Me walking down Nostrand Avenue, me traveling to another state.
And Crown Heights is one neighborhood over from Bed-Stuy. Not that he died there, but I'm just saying the proximity.
Like it made you don't want to travel. It made you don't want to go anywhere.
Right.
It made you like, how could you do that?
Right.
Like, what do we ever do to you?
Right. Type
stuff like that. And then as a lyricist, it made you be mindful of what you say now.
Yeah.
Like,
that's correct.
Am I going to talk about certain things and disrespect certain artists? That wasn't my MO, but that friendly banter we used to have, like, if you take it back to Kumo D and LL Cool J, if you take it back to LL Cool J and Cannabis, if you take it back to certain artists battling, like, it can't be hip hop anymore.
Right.
Like, that's what hip hop is about, like a friendly competition.
Exactly.
KRS-One was very very creative with his words.
Right.
So should he, have the same fate? Like, we always have arguments, we have fights, things happen. But that just sort of like, that whole thing went like too far.
Right.
And it made you sort of like, it separated two coasts and it separated culture.
Separated culture.
So, that's what I was a little torn about. Like, it made people like step back. Do you really want to rap again?
Right.
Do you really watch what you say?
Is it safe?
Yeah, is it safe to rap?
Yeah.
It's sort of like that touch and go thing. Red light, green light, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt as an artist. Then I felt like I lost a lyricist. Like, wow, when I was like, oh, it's cool to be like, spit bars and
right, and then tell stories.
Yeah, and tell stories about, even if it's fictional.
Right.
Like, when does fictional become fact in certain eyes? When is the perception? When is the, how this going to be viewed with other people and how they're going to take it?
When does fiction become fate?
Yes. And I don't want to say anything like, I'm very slick with the words. Like, I'm a very good word player. Mm-hmm. But now how are you going to take it?
Take it, right.
In another state, another country. Yeah. And I travel a lot. At that time I wasn't, et cetera, but wow, now do I want to be?
Right.
Yeah, but that also, to be honest with you, that delayed my career about 3-4 years.
Wow.
I didn't drop my first official record until like 2001.
It was a scary time, bro.
Yeah.
Period. To be a recording artist.
Yeah.
In the hip hop genre.
Yeah. So, but it also helped too because I became like an effective and super ghostwriter for others.
Dope. Okay.
And so I turned a fear into a positive. Mm-hmm.
Well, salute to the Notorious B.I.G. Yeah. I worked for Arista and promoted his first album. I had to go to Bad Boy on several occasions prior to that man's death. And I'll tell you one thing, when I first went to meet with Harv Pierre, who was the promotions rep at Bad Boy at the time that I was working with Arista, I had to go down there to talk about the direction that they were going in the promotional department with the records. By the time Tupac, just prior to Tupac being killed, the Bad Boy office in the Chelsea section of Manhattan became covered with bulletproof glass. I'll never forget that. The first time I went there, I could walk right in. By the time the East Coast, West Coast situation took place, I had to get buzzed in. It was bulletproof. It was just a really crazy time.
Like pre-World Trade.
Yeah, like pre-World Trade. And so, we're here today to salute one of Brooklyn's greatest.
Brooklyn's finest.
Yeah.
And you know what? As you play his records in the club, they're still as effective as they were when they dropped.
Right, exactly.
In 96.
Exactly.
95.
Now, on a less somber note, getting back to you, brother, I just felt that was important considering we just,
Brooklyn,
March 9th just happened, But in January of this year, you performed at the Writers Guild of America Theater, and I was really impressed as a writer, not a rapper, but as a writer, that you added that to your list of accolades. What was that experience like for you, though?
So that was my first time performing live on an award stage. Be honest with you, I was scared to death.
Mm-hmm.
I've performed around the world. I performed at a plethora of places, but to perform on a award stage for the World Entertainment Awards from peers, from artists from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I went from Brazil to Portugal, from Singapore, and to perform in front of that crowd, and for them to say, "I know this song."
Amazing.
It was, the rehearsal was stressful.
Yeah.
I cracked about 3 times. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but to actually perform live on the stage was epic. I can't even say it was epic.
Nice.
And when it was done, it was like I did it.
Right.
And it's not too many people say they could perform live on an award stage.
Right.
But
'Cause that's very different.
yeah, it was very different.
Yeah.
It was very different. And big shout out to the World Entertainment Awards for even considering me. And I won that night for
Nice.
Best Pop Rap Performance.
Ooh, that must have been a feeling.
Yeah, and that song I worked really hard on because it was, like I said, it was featuring, it was Dance For You, on Character album, featuring Kaya Jones from the Pussycat Dolls.
Nice.
And that shows my diversity, and it's like, for that song to be acknowledged globally was like, I mean, artists live their whole lives or their whole careers and never reach that point.
Right.
I'm like, I can honestly say from the heart, I thank you, and I'm glad that I was able to experience that while I could still see it.
Well, let's talk about some things I've experienced.
Okay. Tell me.
So you and I met at a sip and chat. Yeah, you know where this is going, buddy.
Yes, go ahead. Let's go. Let me sit up straight for this.
We met at a sip and chat a couple of months.
A couple of weeks ago, yeah.
Couple of months.
Months
Well,
ago?
it's months back
Months
at
ago,
this
months
point.
back, yeah.
And you were there not promoting your music, but promoting the Sagittarius brand.
Yes.
Right? And I was there with my assistant, Aryan, and I sampled some of your peanut butter and chocolate rum. Now, I don't drink. As a rule, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I just don't. I'm not an angel. I just don't indulge.
Got you.
I remember that I was given what I call a urine sample sized cap about this big maybe of your peanut butter and chocolate rum.
Yes.
And quite frankly, my brother, I thought I would die. Meaning,
I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
don't be sorry, because if it,
No, it was good.
It was interesting. It definitely did what it was supposed to do, and I was afraid I wouldn't even make it home to Staten Island on the ferry that night. So I want to talk about the Sagittarius brand specifically, though. Why does the peanut butter and chocolate rum honor? Why? Because you said that honors the 50 years of hip hop culture, but why does that specific flavor honor hip hop? What is the correlation between peanut butter and chocolate? Maybe that's maybe I should get my black card taken, but it went over my head.
No, it wasn't exactly that. I think you might have received it wrong.
Okay.
It's
like I received the rum wrong. Yes.
Yeah. So
very wrong.
So Sagittarius rum is a rum that was designed to me by a company called Caribbean Moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
They deem that to be something that, and let me just take it back a little bit further than that.
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean Moonshine thought it would be a great idea for me to have my own brand.
Okay.
And and be honest with you, my wife created that brand.
Okay.
Right? She created the brand, and I was basically a instrumental piece in moving it.
Okay.
Sagittarius, it became my project because I looked at it as there's no peanut butter and chocolate rum in existence on the planet as research. Maybe now that I've done it, that it's there, but the peanut butter and chocolate rum, signifies a blend of flavor, a blend of childhood, a blend of a palate that, you know, it reverts you back. The taste is extremely, like, elegant.
Yeah, well, the damn sure wasn't it wasn't a Reese cup. That's for.
Well, so, it does have rum in it.
Well, it definitely
clearly has rum in it.
Because now we got like less than a minute left of the show.
All right, and I'm gonna give you the less than a rundown.
Still have other things that I needed to ask you, which means that you're gonna have to come back and maybe do a taste test on the show. But we literally have 30 seconds.
So the Sagittarius peanut butter and chocolate rum is a dedicated to the 50 years of hip hop, because prior to that I was the brand ambassador for Lamborghini Champagne.
Okay.
And what happens is that was a part of my journey to have the liquor. The rum is dedicated because I looked at it as a staple of, you know, it's, even though you have breakdancing, you drink that, liquor's always been a staple of the culture, even though people indulge and people not. And also, peanut butter and chocolate rum is a palate tasting for women. And one thing I do have to say is a majority of my music caters to women. Okay. And women sort of like run this game.
Yeah, they do.
They buy this.
They do.
So you cater to who is your audience.
Audience, exactly.
They're my audience.
Exactly.
And they wanted rum, and guess what?
You gave it to them.
Hey, baby.
Okay, I know that's right.
But also hip-hop.
Well, listen, it's been more than a pleasure to have you sit across from me, brother. You definitely have to come back. Yes. I hinted towards a taste testing on the air. I don't know if the network will let me do that, but whatever, we can.
Don't worry about it. I'll sit a bottle up here, and they can just show it.
Yeah, we can do a taste testing. But thank you so much for coming on our show. Thank you for sharing your talent, your knowledge,
Thank you for having me.
And your jacket with us. We'll see you guys next week.